All right, so these are the rules that you've seen before. I'm just going to talk about them again, and then we'll go straight to examples to practice. So, step one, factor out the greatest common factor. Now, there's something special about that. If the common factor in the front is negative, you have to factor out a negative. Perfect, perfect. So, if the leading coefficient, if the number in the front, the number next to the x squared, if that's negative, then you have to factor out a negative. That's one rule you can never forget. And the first step being that is something you can never forget. A lot of people forget that, and then your answer at the end is not simplified. Step two, break down the first and the last term. And step three, cross multiply until you get the correct middle number. Now remember, if the number's wrong, switch the number. If the sign is wrong, switch the sign. Those are a couple little hints for you. So the first thing I want to practice is the zero product property, because one of these worksheets, specifically the maze worksheet, this entire worksheet is all already factored, so you don't have to factor anything. You just have to go straight to zero product property. So zero product property, let's practice it here. On the green example, the two factors that we're looking at are negative 3x and x plus 6. Both of those have to be separated and made equal to 0. That's what the zero product property is. So you grab negative 3x, make it equal to 0, and you grab x plus 6, make it equal to 0. Now solve both. How do you leave x by itself here? By dividing by negative 3. Whatever you do to one side, do to the other. So we get x equals 0. Now, if you're going to get x by itself on this equation, it's one step only. Minus 6 on both sides, which gives you x equals negative 6. So on all the work you're going to do today, you're going to have to factor it and show me the zero product property. Except the form. The form is multiple choice, no work required. Say again? You could copy them down as I explain them. You don't have to copy them down at the beginning. So you know that you have enough space. All right, so what I do want you to do before doing the yellow question here together is look at what happened on this equation. If you just have x plus or x minus a number, what happens to the solution? It's just the opposite sign of the number that was in there to begin with. So if you had plus 6 in there, your answer is going to be negative 6. You understand? So use that same logic for that yellow question. What's going to be my solution for plus 3? Negative 3. What's going to be my solution for x minus 2? Positive 2. It's that simple. Now, look at this next one. Grab both factors, make them equal to 0 separately. 2x plus 3 equals 0. 3x minus 4 equals 0. Now, let's do the first one here. Don't do the first equation. Tell me what the first two steps are out loud. You don't have to actually do it. Just tell me out loud. What would be the first step to solving this equation? Minus what? Minus 3. And then divide by what? By 2. That's how you solve equations, right? Minus 3 on both sides, divide by the coefficient. You guys all agree? Now, knowing those two steps actually gives you the answer. I'm going to write my answer with no work. The two steps were subtract 3, divide by 2. That's my answer. So use that same common sense for this one. What are the two steps for here? Add 4 and divide by 3. That's my answer. That's my solution. Now, on purple, how many factors do you see there? How many factors? 3. Here, you have 1, 2 factors. Here, you have 1, 2 factors. All of these have 2 factors. Here, you have 1, 2, and 3. A factor is something that's being multiplied. There's 3 things being multiplied there. All 3 get made equal to 0 and solved. So what's the first factor? X. Make x equal 0. Done. What's the next factor? X plus 10. Let's use our common sense. What's the solution to x plus 10 going to be? Negative 10. How about x minus 2? What's my solution going to be? Positive 2. Now, before I continue, what's the point of doing this? The point of doing this is to find out in real life where something touches the ground, something touches the x-intercept. And in real life, the x-intercept is where you walk, the floor, right? So, for example, if I want to calculate how long it takes for this frog to land on the ground, these answers are that solution. You with me? So if your answer was, for example, here, negative 10, positive 2, which one's a real solution for that frog jump? 2, because time can never be negative. You with me? It's pretty simple. I mean, I don't mind helping you while you do your work, so just ask if you're confused. Now we get to the factoring part. I chose the same numbers on purpose here, so just pay attention even if you know the answer. So here we need to factor and use the zero product property. So I want you to take a look at the next question in advance. Look at the first 2 questions. On the first question, the last number is positive. On the second question, the last number is positive. Everybody see that? Now, when we factor this, there's only 2 ways to get a positive result. A positive times a positive and a negative times a negative. So, what does that tell you? That tells you whenever this last number is positive, it's either going to be plus plus or minus minus. Now, why do you think I put minus minus on this one? What? It has a negative in the middle. Very good. Why did I put plus plus here? Because everything's positive. You with me? Now, what times what is 28? It could be 7 times 4, 14 times 2, or 28 times 1. Which set of numbers can give you 11? 7 and 4. Now, step 3 was cross multiply and verify that you get the correct middle number. So 7 times x, 7x, x times 4, 4x, 7x plus 4x is positive 11x. Does my middle number match? Yes, it does. So my solution, my factors are the top part and the bottom part. Now, if we're going to use a zero product property, what are my 2 solutions? These are my 2 factors. What are my 2 solutions? Negative 7 and negative 4. Very good. Just change the sign. Now let's go to number 2. On number 2, same thing. Break down the first and the last number. Now, why did I use 7 and 4? Because it gives me 11. Now, if I cross multiply, I get negative 7x minus 4x, which is negative 11x. Correct middle number. So now, my first binomial is the top part, and my second binomial is the bottom part. If my factor is x minus 7, my solution is positive 7. If my factor is x minus 4, my solution is positive 4. Now, what if this is a word problem, and your two solutions were 4 seconds and 7 seconds, right? Those two are true solutions. You don't see negatives there, right? You don't see a 0 there. Those are real solutions. So that just means that the frog did what? The frog jumped and then did what? Jumped again, because he hit the ground at 3 seconds and at 4 seconds. You understand? These answers mean seconds in real life. So if it says 4 seconds and 7 seconds, that means it went 4 seconds, hit the ground, up for another 3 seconds, hit the ground. You understand? That's what these represent in real life. So now, let's review the ones with a negative at the end. Because the first two had a positive 28. So, well, let me explain it. Look, so break down the first and the last number, and break down the 28. Like I said, 28 was 7, 4, 14 times 2, 28 times 1. 7 and 4 are the numbers again, because that's the only set of numbers that can give me 3. So we know it's 7 and 4, but positive 4 times positive 7 is not negative 28. That tells you that one of these has to be negative. If the middle number is negative, the bigger number is negative. That's it. Now you have the correct setup. Your middle number is going to match. So my solution, my factors are x minus 7 and x plus 4. Which means my solutions, my x-intercepts are positive 7 and negative 4. Opposite sign. Now in the purple one, it's the same setup. But when I get to the point where I ask myself, which one is negative? If the middle number is positive, the bigger number is positive, which means the negative is on the 4. Those are my two parentheses, or factors. And then you use a zero product property to get the two solutions. Any questions so far? All right, now these are the 3 assignments. Please pay attention because they're very simple. Now, on the Google form activity, it's only 10 questions and it's multiple choice, which means you don't have to show me work. Simply select the correct answer. When you're done, you submit it and it grades it for me. You got that? Then, these are the 2 activities. Each trinomial is going to have a letter next to it. So your job is to factor it. Let me do it the long way because that's what we're practicing today. X, 9 times 2, bigger number negative because the middle number is negative. So I know this is going to be x minus 9 times x plus 2. Now you're going to use the zero product property and get the solutions, but what you're trying to do is match these factors to one of these answer choices down here. So we have x minus 9, x plus 2, which is right here. That's where the O goes. That's the whole point of doing the activity, to find out what it spells at the end. Right? What's the point of a riddle if I tell you the riddle before you start it? Don't answer it. I'll tell you the answer. You understand? So, say again? Yeah, just factor it like we've been doing on today. And once you get the answer, these are the answers down here. So look for that answer, which is here, and put whatever letter it has on that blank space. So for example, if number one was this answer and it had a B on it, B goes there. Pretty simple. Yeah, it's going to have like a phrase at the end. The question is, what polynomial tries the hardest? So I don't know. It's going to be a cool one, and I know you can Google that riddle. Everybody knows that, but without work, it's an F. So you can Google it all you want. You better backtrack that work. All right? I don't mind cheaters if you're cheating smart in a way where you can remember these things. All right, so now the third worksheet is a maze. These are all activities. I'll give you more than enough time to complete them. So the maze is already factored. You don't have to factor it. So all you do is use the zero product property. If I have x plus 5, what's my solution? Negative 5. If I have x plus 1, what's my solution? Negative 1. Where is my correct answer? This one. So that means that my next problem is this problem. If my correct answer was here, then I go this way. If my correct answer was here, I go that way. And at the end, you're going to have a path to where it says, great job. What? Yeah, because the worksheet you're going to get, it's not like you get the worksheet and at the end there's a surprise. Yes, but hold on. I want to show you the worksheet so that you know what I'm talking about. All right, this is the maze. Look, this is the maze. So my solution's here. So I connect from here to here. Now I solve this one. Let's say my answer's here. I got to go this way now. And at the end of the whole thing, you should end up with a one path to good job, the end. Pretty simple. You don't have to factor there. It's all zero product property. Make it equal to zero and solve it. Any questions? It is common sense though, because I just told you shortcuts to all of this. Look at this one right here. What are the two steps to solving 2x minus 5 equals 0? Add 5 and divide by 2. So it's pretty easy to figure out which one's the answer right here. You understand? It's a lot easier than it looks because you already know how to do this with no work, just looking at it. Okay? You have to show work for the other worksheet. That's the cross product method. For this one, the simple ones, you don't need to show me work. The ones that you have to add and divide, if I see you did the shortcut, I'm good with it. If you need to work, by all means, show work. Any questions before you get started? All right, Google Form is already in there. The other two I'm going to put in Google Classroom now. Go ahead and get started. Ask me anything you like whenever you like.